Millions of football fans will be tuning into the Super Bowl on Sunday. And what good is Super Bowl Sunday without wings, chips, soda, and alcohol? Viewers are expected to shell out more than $18 billion on those items to make their big game celebrations a touchdown. Joining us now for more on this is Filippo Falorni. He is lead analyst covering U.S. beverages, household products, and personal care over at Citi. How big a boost is a one-day event like the Super Bowl for some of these companies, Filippo?
Hi, Scarlett. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, look, the Super Bowl is always a very important event for many of these companies. I wouldn't say just for the consumption in the day of, but much more for the brand building around it. So you see a lot of my companies really focus on commercials around the Super Bowl to really try to get consumers into their brands, and particularly around innovation. That's a really good aspect that a lot of companies are going to highlight in their commercial. But in terms of your consumption, it could drive 1 to 2 points in terms of volume growth for those kind of month of February typically. And so that's an important event also from consumption.
This might be a supremely dumb question, but what kind of beer does well? Is it just, the regular guys? Is it going to be craft? Are we talking about more specialty drinks? What's going to drive the needle, move the needle on Sunday?
Yeah, so that's a good question, Alex. So look, traditional beer, the domestic beers have been on decline over the last 10 years. So what you really seen in the U.S. beer category is that you've seen an emergence of especially the import beer brands from Mexico. So the Constellation brands, the Corona, the Modelo, those have been the fastest growing beers. Obviously, now there's a lot of concern around those beer from the tariffs, the potential tariffs from Mexico. We have a pause for about a month, and then we'll have to see what President Trump decides in early March. And then the other part of the beer category that's really been growing is kind of all these beer alternatives. So before, in the summer of 2020, 2021, was the hard seltzer boom. Then we've seen the hard seltzer really have a boom-bust kind of growth. And then we've seen the growth of all these other alternatives, including flavor malt beverages, brands like Twisted Tea that is manufactured by Boston Beer. And then more recently, all these other alternatives in ready-to-drink alcohol, including Surfside, and then more recently, Sun Cruiser, which is going to be featured by Boston Beer at the Super Bowl as a recent innovation that they launched earlier last year, and then they're going to go national in Q1 of this year.
Oh, so we'll look for that. How much pricing power do these companies have? And I ask that because PepsiCo, in its earnings report, indicated that it is no longer going to cut prices, or it's not going to try to boost sales by cutting prices, I should say, but it will offer more variety in package sizes and maybe provide value through packaging differently the products it has on offer. I mean, do beverage companies have that option?
Yes, look, I think for the salty snacks, it's been a challenge. 2024, we've seen a slowdown in volumes in the category. There's obviously a lot of concern around GLP-1 drugs adoption and the reduction of consumption for consumers that are taking GLP-1 drugs, and generally a more health-conscious consumer. So what Pepsi talked about is, last summer, they tried with a lot of promotional activity. It didn't really work. It didn't really stimulate volume. So for 2025, what their plan is not really focus as much on reducing prices, to your point, and promotions, but really focus on price packs, and so offering different pack sizes to consumers. On the beer side and the beverage side, companies have been doing this for a long time. Coca-Cola kind of started this trend with smaller cans, like the mini cans, the mini bottles. And those have been pretty successful for these companies as they generate higher revenue per same amount of liquid that gets sold.